Here's what I've learned from having 2,000 subscribers, and these are the golden nuggets that you're gonna learn from it. Because on October 31st, this channel you're watching right now hit a new milestone, which has got me excited and ready to take things up a notch. That's right, we hit 2,000 subscribers, and over the next few minutes, I'm gonna share with you everything I learned during this process and what I could have done better to grow faster. Plus, I'll be showing you my current YouTube analytics so that you can see for yourself the hard figures. Now, I started this channel in October 2022, so pretty much exactly 1 year ago, with the determination to stay consistent and post at least twice a week. And well, by December, the first break in consistency came due to the Christmas period, and I didn't really restart creating videos until February. And there was also another sizable break in September thanks to a long family vacation. Even though I did take all of my gear to the vacation with me with the intention to make videos while I was away, but that didn't exactly go to plan. Now, since starting though, I've always had the intention to post 2 times per week to help grow my channel faster. However, the truth is, to keep up with that kind of consistency is hard, especially because I script all of my videos to stop myself from waffling on. Plus, by scripting, I can make sure that the content I want to deliver to you guys is valuable and not just random garbage off the top of my head. So, I started this channel in October 2022, and it took me until May 4th, 2023 to reach 1,000 subscribers, so approximately 7 months, and then another 5 months to reach 2,000 subs. But now, I'm about to tell you how I could have done this all a lot faster. If you're just starting out on YouTube and looking at other channels in a similar niche to yours that are just exploding and growing extremely fast, then it becomes easy to assume that you can just copy that same success. Now, unfortunately, it's simply not true. In my niche, somebody I tried to imitate was Joshua Mayo, who started his channel in March 2021 and grew to 10k subs by November that same year. Then by April 2022, 5 months later, he hit 100k. And 5 months later after that, in September, that same year, he hit 200k subs, all by providing side hustle ideas. The same with Alec, who started his channel in November 2022, so a similar time to me, and is now on just over 300 subs. Now, the learning curve I've taken from this, which I'd implement into future channels, is that at the very start, until you hit about 30 to 50 subs, niche down hard and don't deviate. The reason I say this is because if you go to the start of Alec's journey, every video was about print on demand and Etsy, the 2 things that he specialized in before starting YouTube. And this was already similar to how I started creating videos, mainly around selling on Fiverr and becoming a successful freelancer, because that's what I knew and was good at. Until a couple of months in, and I started to get distracted by what other YouTubers were posting and thought I'd try deviating by making more generalized videos, like 6 websites that pay you daily. And don't get me wrong, it took off, bringing me in 14k views, but then completely flatlined after about 25 days. And the main reason I did this was because I assumed focusing my content purely on Fiverr and freelancing, I'd be niching down too much and wouldn't have a large enough audience. But in fact, that was my mistake, because most of the time, whenever I post a video around Fiverr, those are the ones that get you guys interacting the most. Now, these are probably the 2 things which are the most overlooked aspect for all new YouTubers. But as you probably already know, they're also the most important. But what have I learned from these? Well, when it comes to thumbnails, I'd always suggest trying to keep them somewhat uniformed. Because remember, your YouTube channel will essentially become your brand. So if you're working with a thumbnail designer, make sure that they take an interest in your channel and are willing to not just make generic thumbnails like everyone else is doing, but actually put some creativity into the process too. Finding a good thumbnail designer can be hard, and especially one at a reasonable price. I personally wouldn't recommend Fiverr for thumbnail designers, as the top sellers normally already have 80 plus thumbnails in queue at any one time, meaning that you just become another number. Instead, I found my designer on Upwork and now work with him directly through WhatsApp, which is much easier for communication and fast turnaround times. And just to be fully transparent, I paid $20 per thumbnail design, so Not a crazy amount, but also not the cheapest you can find. Also, if you just posted a video and are experiencing a low click-through rate, don't be so hasty to change your thumbnail. Give it some time for YouTube to push your content and get a decent amount of impressions. I'd normally say anywhere between 24 to 48 hours. If it's still low, and normally I class low as below 4%, then you can think about changing the thumbnail. But the title is a whole different story. Changing the title after posting honestly brings me serious anxiety, and I try not to do it. Sometimes I'll spend up to 1 hour trying to research and think about the title that I want to use. Now, your title should have good keywords in it, but also should invoke curiosity while also not being stupidly long. And the reason I don't suggest changing your title after posting is because YouTube already categorized your video the first time, and changing the title means that they have to do it again, which can easily impact your video in a negative way. Now, I've changed a few video titles in the past, and honestly, it wasn't worth it. The impressions just flatlined. Alright, doubling down. Is it worth it? Short answer, yes. But don't overdo it and don't expect to get the same results. My video on the 6 websites that pay you daily that blew up immediately is a great example, because when that happened, I thought I was on something and I decided to double down on it, which led me to create 4 websites that pay you within 24 hours. As you can see, this one didn't do anywhere near as well. In fact, it flatlined after 2 weeks. And the impressions also flatlined. Even though my click-through rate was high and the retention was half decent, with 70% of people still watching at the 30-second mark. So I made another one, about 7 websites, and I got 3K views. Again, completely flatlining, but still with a half decent click-through rate. So I thought maybe 4th time lucky. And so I created 8 websites that pay you daily. And well, it went to the YouTube graveyard, not even hitting 300 views and getting minimal impressions. So doubling down can bring you a few extra views, but it's rare that you're going to get the same results as your first video that you published. Now, this depends. It depends on if you're trying to build a channel around shorts or long form content. Personally, I believe that long form content is much more valuable and the monetization targets for shorts is extremely high. So for the majority of channels, I'd say you should be using shorts for only 2 things. 1, to help increase your subscriber amount. For example, my top performing video on my channel is a very basic short I made about the promoted gig option on Fiverr. It took 2 months to get 3K views, but now after almost 300 days, I'm on 55,000 views and it continues to get around 500 views every 48 hours. And the reason for this is because it's performing really well in YouTube search. Plus, it brought me in more than 270 subscribers. And 2, shorts help you test content ideas. Now, if you see one starting to take off, then you can think about making a long form about it. Exactly what I did. Off the back of my highest performing short, I made a long form video and titled it exactly the same. Again, it was a slow starter and took around 44 days to get 1,000 views. But now it's been picked up in YouTube search and continues to bring in a decent amount of views every day, making it one of my top 3 best performing videos on my channel. Alright, you'll hear multiple people say that getting to 1,000 subscribers is the hard part, but once you hit that milestone, it will be smooth sailing. In fact, Think Media advertised their whole online course around helping you get your first 1,000 subs. And in my experience, it's not overly difficult to reach 1,000 subs, as all you really need to do is find 1,000 people who are interested in watching your content. But from 1,000 to 2,000 or 10,000, it doesn't necessarily get easier. If anything, your content just gets better as you're constantly learning with each video that you upload. So an easier growth journey from 1,000 subs, personally, I think is just a marketing strategy to hook new YouTubers. Definitely do this at the start. Figure out your niche and hit it hard. And yeah, you might find it hard to keep producing videos about the same thing, but you can pivot while staying in your niche. For example, I've made videos about my experience on Fiverr. Then I've also made videos on the craziest gigs people are actually making money from on Fiverr. There are seriously a ton of different options, and you can always pair your niche with a different one if you want to branch out a little more. For example, AI gigs on Fiverr, or I paid this Fiverr Seller to create me a digital product. These are just some off-the-cuff ideas, but the message that I want to get across is, if you're open-minded enough, then you should be able to pump out 10 to 20 of your first videos in your niche to attract your base audience before deviating from that niche. Otherwise, you're making videos for an audience that didn't subscribe to this other niche that you're now creating videos about. Truth be told, multiple times I think to myself when I'm making a video is that this video is going to take off, only for it then to get 200 views. Now, unfortunately, this is the case sometimes, and it's happened to me multiple times. Yes, it's disappointing because you just put a ton of effort into the video, but it's just the way it goes. However, you never know what could happen in the future. It could start to be picked up and completely take off 6 months down the line. The rule I live by is once I post a video, that's it. There's nothing more that I can do, so I have to move on to the next one. Also, a good golden nugget to know about when it comes to monetization, reaching 1,000 subscribers is much easier than getting 4,000 watch hours. And my top performing video about 6 websites that pay you daily got me 640 watch hours. Therefore, you'd think, okay, 6 good videos like this and I've smashed the monetization goal. Well, that's also easier said than done. Right now, for example, I'm not monetized because I'm still around 1,800 hours away from the target. So in my experience, you'll definitely be hitting 1,000 subs long before you reach 4,000 watch hours. Alright, I wanted to mention about this and I thought it would be useful for any new YouTubers to know. Starting a channel, unless you want to commit a lot of your own time and have the skill in editing, it's going to cost you money. Right now, for my YouTube channel alone, I spend around $560 a month on thumbnails and editing. And with all of my social media, meaning the editing of Reels and YouTube Shorts, I spend around $1,000 a month. So you've got to decide whether you want to spend your time on editing or you want to pay somebody else to do it. For me, I just don't have the time to focus on editing, so it works out more beneficial to pay and have that all taken care of. Okay, this is an easy one. vidIQ 100%. The features and layout are much better. Now, I've been paying and using both for some time, but overall, they both give you completely different results. However, vidIQ can do a lot more. But of course, it is more expensive. I think I pay around $50 a month, but it's totally worth it as I use it a lot. And there you have it. I'm hoping you've at least managed to take away a couple of golden nuggets from this video. But if you have any questions that you want me to try and answer, then just drop them in the comments below. And again, thank you guys for subscribing to the channel. I do really appreciate it. Next milestone is 10,000 subscribers. And Social Blade right now is predicting that that's going to happen in 2027. So maybe you can help me and let's try to prove that wrong.